Where's my fucking family?
Before the world burned, before the Wasteland learned to fear his name, he was a smiling cowboy on movie posters and Vault-Tec billboards. The Ghoul isn't just another mutated gunslinger roaming the Fallout Wasteland. He's a living relic of the lies, betrayals, and corporate greed that ended the old world. Once known as Cooper Howard, a war hero turned Hollywood icon, his journey from silver screen legend to radioactive bounty hunter is one of the most tragic and revealing stories in the Fallout universe. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we're breaking down the complete origins of the Ghoul, from his days fighting in the Sino-American War to becoming Vault-Tec's smiling mascot, to uncovering the horrifying truth behind the vaults, and finally transforming into the feared Wasteland legend we meet in the Fallout TV series. This isn't just a character backstory, it's the story of how the world betrayed one man, and how that man never forgot.
Here, and there's no bad ideas in a brainstorm, but that's not something that we ever do.
The man before the monster. Long before the Wasteland learned to fear the name the Ghoul, he was Cooper Howard, a symbol of American heroism wrapped in cowboy hats, movie posters, and patriotic myth-making. Born sometime in the early 21st century, Cooper grew up in a nation that believed power, spectacle, and victory were inseparable. That belief carried him straight into the United States Marine Corps during the early years of the Sino-American War, where he was deployed to the Alaskan front lines in 2067. What he saw there never left him. The American mainland nearly fell, and only Vault-Tec's rushed deployment of T-45 power armor stopped the Chinese advance. To the public, those suits were miracles of engineering. To Cooper, they were coffins with a flag painted on them. He watched friends die because of a flawed chest plate weld, a design shortcut that corporate overseers ignored because the armor looked impressive on propaganda reels. That moment planted the first crack in his faith in the system, even if he didn't yet have the words to name it.
Now I've waited over 200 years to ask.
From war hero to Hollywood icon, after his honorable discharge, Cooper returned to California carrying medals, trauma, and a face America trusted. Hollywood welcomed him eagerly, transforming the decorated Marine into a Western film star. Over the next decade, he became synonymous with rugged justice, starring in films like A Man and His Dog and The Man from Dead Horse. These roles weren't just acting jobs to Cooper. They were extensions of who he thought he was, a man who believed in rules, consequences, and mercy. That belief came into conflict while filming The Man from Dead Horse when Cooper objected to his sheriff character executing a pleading outlaw instead of arresting him. His concerns were brushed aside when he discovered the scriptwriter had been fired for alleged communist sympathies. The studio wanted a new ending for a new America, and Cooper was expected to smile, perform, and move on. It was the first time he realized that even fiction had begun to serve corporate and ideological interests rather than human truth.
War never changes. You look at it this way.
Vault-Tec's perfect smile. Cooper's life changed permanently when his wife, Barb Howard, a rising executive at Vault-Tec, persuaded him to appear in a promotional campaign. Wearing a Vault jumpsuit, Cooper suggested a friendly thumbs-up pose, a harmless gesture that would later become one of the most haunting symbols of the Fallout universe. As Vault-Tec's marketing expanded, so did Cooper's involvement. He became the smiling face of Apocalypse Insurance, selling luxury survival to an anxious public. The money was good, but the cost was severe. Hollywood began turning its back on him, and fellow actors boycotted his presence on set, calling his work morally repulsive. Cooper felt himself becoming less of a man and more of a mascot, paraded in front of executives who spoke about extinction as if it were a branding opportunity. One of those executives was Bud Askins, a Vault-Tec power broker who openly bragged about overseeing the rollout of the very T-45 armor that had failed Cooper's unit in Alaska. When Askins casually remarked that the suits looked great, Cooper snapped, reminding him that those same flaws killed real soldiers. The disconnect between human cost and corporate pride disgusted him, and it followed him home, where rap parties and executive banter felt like enemy territory, even as friends tried to reassure him that selling out was simply the new American way. Cooper sensed something rotten beneath the smiles and slogans.
Your whole little world was decided over 200 years ago.
A family divided by the future. As Barb climbed higher within Vault-Tec, the distance between her and Cooper grew. She spoke of the vaults as salvation, while Cooper saw them as surrender. Their arguments became sharper, centered on increasingly authoritarian Vault-Tec policies, and the idea of raising their daughter Janie underground, stripped of freedom in exchange for survival. When Barb revealed that her position guaranteed them placement in a good vault, Cooper realized survival itself had become a class privilege. He accused her of trading freedom for security, declaring that he hadn't gone to war just to live under the boot heel of men like Bud Askins. Barb, unmoved, insisted she was protecting their family from an inevitable nuclear extinction. In her mind, Vault-Tec wasn't the problem, it was the solution.
Is the weapon with which we will defeat all of our enemies.
Searching for truth, desperate for answers, Cooper confided in Charles Whiteknife, an old war buddy who had drifted into the growing wave of Hollywood radicalism. Though still fiercely anti-communist, Cooper found himself agreeing with one unsettling idea. Humanity's survival had been outsourced to profit-driven corporations. That doubt led him to a clandestine meeting at the Hollywood Forever Mausoleum, where he encountered Miss Williams, a woman who challenged everything Cooper believed. Her words angered him at first, especially her claim that ordinary Americans had more in common with their supposed enemies than with the elites ruling them. But when she suggested that Barb might not be the person he thought she was, Cooper hesitated. Before leaving, she gave him a listening device, framed as a souvenir, but heavy with implication.
By dropping the bomb ourselves.
Learning the unforgivable truth. For a time, Cooper resisted temptation, even discarding the device in disgust after sinking it to Barb's Pip-Boy. But doubt is a persistent poison. Eventually, he retrieved it and followed Barb to a Vault-Tec headquarters meeting. There, hidden among corporate luxury, Cooper overheard a conversation that shattered his world. Bud Askins and other industrial titans, including Robert House, discussed using the vaults not merely as shelters, but as laboratories for social experimentation. When House questioned the plan's relevance without a nuclear war, Barb herself suggested inciting the apocalypse to erase government oversight and allow corporations to reshape humanity in their image. In that moment, Cooper realized the end of the world wasn't a tragedy Vault-Tec feared. It was a business plan.
Never changes. You look out at this wasteland.
The fall of Cooper Howard. After that night, nothing could be repaired. Cooper cut all ties with Vault-Tec, initiated divorce proceedings, and tried to warn others about what he'd learned. The response was swift and brutal. He was blacklisted, branded a communist, and erased from polite society. Vault-Tec replaced him with Vault Boy, a cartoon smile easier to control than a conscience. Reduced to performing at children's parties to pay alimony, Cooper refused to do the thumbs-up pose that once made him famous. Only Janie remained a bright spot, helping him with his gigs and strengthening their bond as the world edged closer to annihilation. On October 23, 2077, the bombs fell. Cooper was entertaining at a birthday party in the Hollywood Hills when nuclear fire consumed Los Angeles. With Janie riding behind him on his horse Sugarfoot, Cooper fled into a future that would strip away everything he had left.
This is our chance to make war obsolete.
Birth of the Ghoul. Somehow, Cooper survived the Great War, but survival came at a cost. Radiation transformed him into a ghoul, preserving his body while eroding his humanity. Over the centuries, grief, rage, and the slow decay of the world hardened him into a ruthless bounty hunter. By 2296, the man who once played sheriffs had become an executioner, feared across the greater Los Angeles wasteland. His marksmanship was legendary, his morals shattered, and his only constant companion was pain, held at bay by inhaler drugs that kept him from going feral. A legend reawakened. When mercenaries broke him out of a coffin to hunt Enclave defector Siggy Wilzig, they underestimated the monster they'd unleashed. Cooper slaughtered them without hesitation, then returned to California to claim the bounty alone. In Philly, he demonstrated exactly why his name inspired terror, gunning down townsfolk and outmaneuvering a Brotherhood knight by exploiting the same armor flaws he'd witnessed centuries earlier. Every shot was a reminder that he never forgot and never forgave. Lucy's interference pulled the ghoul into a twisted partnership that forced him to confront fragments of his old self. He mocked her ideals, brutalized the Wasteland without mercy, yet showed fleeting kindness to fellow ghouls on the edge of ferality. His reunion with Roger, an old friend, ended in mercy killing, revealing that some part of Cooper Howard still survived beneath the scars. Lucy's last name, MacLean, quietly stirred memories tied to Vault-Tec, memories the ghoul could no longer ignore.
Event would be a tragedy, but also an opportunity.
Facing the Makers. As the hunt led to the Griffith Observatory, the ghoul uncovered deeper truths linking Lucy's father, Vault-Tec, and the destruction of Shady Sands. When he finally confronted Hank MacLean, the past and present collided. The ghoul didn't just want vengeance, he wanted answers. He wanted to know what happened to his family and who truly lit the fuse that ended the world. By sparing Hank to follow the trail, the ghoul made a choice that echoed the man he used to be, not the monster he'd become. In the end, the ghoul's journey is not just about survival, but about reckoning. Cooper Howard was betrayed by corporations, by his country, and by the future he was promised. The ghoul is what remains when belief dies, but memory refuses to fade. As he heads toward the Mojave alongside Lucy, hunting the architects of the Great War, the ghoul's story comes full circle. This isn't just the tale of how a man became a monster, it's the story of how the world created him, and why it should be afraid of what he remembers. Our nerdy thoughts. The ghoul's story doesn't end with bullets and bounties, it ends with questions. Cooper Howard didn't just survive the apocalypse, he was shaped by it, carved into something the Wasteland needed but never deserved. Every scar on his body, every cruel joke, and every perfect shot is a reminder of a world that chose profit over people and called it progress. As he rides toward the Mojave alongside Lucy, hunting the architects of the Great War, the ghoul isn't just chasing answers, he's chasing accountability. And for the first time in over 200 years, the man buried beneath the radiation and rage might finally get to face the ones who made the world burn. If the Fallout universe has taught us anything, it's that monsters aren't born, they're manufactured. And the ghoul is living proof of that. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Fallout's most tragic and fascinating characters, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, stay curious, because in the Wasteland, the past never stays buried.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.